In the last episode, I talked about guns that I regretted buying. Not because they were bad, but because they just weren't right for me at the time. Today is the other side of that conversation. These are the guns that I'm glad I bought. Not because they're perfect and not because they're expensive, but because they earned their place through use, trust, and purpose. From the first shot onward. Before we get started, I want to be clear about a few things. I'm not a firearms dealer or a salesperson, and nothing in this video is intended as advice on what you should buy or own. This content is shared just for educational and informative purposes only, as well as a little bit of entertainment, hopefully. It just reflects my personal experiences and opinions. I'm not affiliated with or sponsored by or endorsing any firearm accessory manufacturer or distributor unless explicitly stated. Laws and requirements vary by location, so always do your own research. Conduct qualified professionals where appropriate. Now further, before I get on to my list, I need to frame this carefully. Every firearm that I'm about to mention here is probably more expensive than what most people need or should feel pressured to buy when entering the space. You do not need to spend this type of money to enjoy shooting or to become proficient, or certainly not to responsibly defend yourself. So I kind of think of this kind of like as being a general manager in the NFL. Every team has a salary cap. Some teams are allowed to spend more and some have to be more selective. But a smart GM can still field a competitive team on a budget. The same is true here. So just make sure that you honor your personal salary cap, your budget, and be confident that you can still build something that performs and grows with you and gets you out on the field. So when I say that I'm glad that I bought a firearm, I just mean this. I trust it. I enjoy shooting it. It motivates me to practice, and it fills a clear role. These aren't safe queens, and they're not status symbols. They're tools that I actually use. If I had to pick one handgun that best represents balance for me, it would be the 6-hour P226 X-Carry Legion. By the way, all of these weapons here have been pre-cleared, so there's no rounds in the chamber. For my body type, it's small enough to conceal, but still large enough and shootable enough to serve in a home defense role, and that combination matters to me. The ergonomics are excellent, balance is predictable, and it shoots flatter than I deserve. It also shares magazine compatibility with my P226 Legion, which adds an additional practical value. This is a gun, to me, that rewards fundamentals and inspires confidence without demanding perfection. The Staccato C is the most versatile gun that I own. In fact, if I were forced to liquidate every firearm but one, this would be the one that I would keep. It's reliable, it's accurate, and it bridges carry and defensive roles extremely well. Frankly, the only concern that I have with it is not about any sort of performance. It's about the future. Staccato, very improvidently, I may say, discontinued this line after about only a year after its release in favor of the new HD series. That means that I do need to be mindful that proprietary items such as magazines may be harder to secure over time. To me, it's not a deal breaker. I just think it's a shame because it's a fantastic weapon. But those things are things that I would need to have to plan for. The Cardinal Orange G2 is the most expensive gun that's on this list. But I can take some solace in the fact that it did not require that largest out-of-pocket expense. I was able to actually acquire this by trading a firearm that I found more expendable on my roster. Why do I find it as one that I'm glad that I bought? It's just simply gorgeous, but more importantly, it's uniquely well balanced and ergonomically pleasant, especially for a 5-inch steel barrel with an aluminum grip. It feels very agile in my hands. Now, despite its gorgeous looks with the serrations and just its designs, it's not a safe queen. I trust it enough to run in competitions, most recently a steel challenge competition that I ran last week, and it performed admirably. The 6-hour P365 XG Legion solves a very unique problem for me. Despite having a 3.1-inch barrel, it shoots remarkably well. The metal grip module, has weight and stability that dramatically improves control for a firearm this size. And the same grip allows me to draw from conceal without any sort of struggle, which, as we discussed in my last episode, isn't always the case with smaller polymer framed pistols. This firearm is my singular choice when deeper concealment is warranted. It also proves that size alone doesn't dictate shootability. I wanted to include one honorable mention, and of course that's the Springfield Armory Echelon. I've discussed it in detail in a prior episode, so I won't get into many of those same details now, but I'll just simply say this. If I had never gone beyond the Echelon, I still would have been well served. It's reliable, it's modular, and it's far more affordable than any of the other guns that are on this list. For new gun owners, it represents a strong foundation without breaking the salary cap. Despite differences in price and purpose, these guns do share a few common traits. They're all reliable, they're all purpose-driven, and they all make me want to practice. That's it. That's the standard for me. I'm curious, what firearms are you glad that you bought, and why? Not the most expensive, not the most hyped, but which ones earned your trust and your time on the range? Thoughtful reflections are always welcome here. Being glad you bought a firearm has very little to do with price. It has everything to do with fit, honesty about your needs, and respecting your personal salary cap. The best gun is the one that keeps you training and keeps you grounded and keeps you honest about why you own it. Everything else is just noise. And learning to tune that noise out, that's part of the journey. Until next time, may God's love completely cover you. From the first shot onward.